Welcome, you guys. Impact 3 is just 1 month away. I know we've got Christmas that's coming and all this lovely stuff. And then January is going to be here in no time. I'm telling you. And it's not too early to start thinking about your goals for the new year. And why not start off your new year with Impact 3? Now, today you are going to get to meet some of our speakers that are going to be speaking at the conference, which you are not going to want to miss. Here's a little bit more about Impact 3. Doesn't that look awesome, you guys? This is going to be so much fun. So I'm going to introduce to you 3 of those speakers today. We've got Audrey Vadnais, who's here today. Audrey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Audrey and I'm from Missouri, and I tutor in reading, and then I also integrate a lot of handwriting because of the importance of that. So I came to online tutoring. I've been tutoring online 4 years, and I've had my own practice for the last year and a half. So,
oh, that is so exciting. And you've made that big transition between you were in the classroom to starting your own business and now running it successfully. I love that. Yay, so exciting. And our other 2 speakers, they come from a different path because we want to keep this a well-rounded, conference. So we've got Sonia in the house. Sonia, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Dhaliwal. It's an East Indian name. It's a little tricky.
Dhaliwal.
Dhaliwal, yes. Yeah, you did great. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your background, because you specifically help teachers and on their weight loss journey as they kind of go into like superhero syndrome and trying to get everything done and all of that, and like really bringing their health into mind.
Yeah, I taught in the classroom for over 11 years. And then after a health scare, when I had my second little kiddo, I had kind of a wake up call and said, you know what, it's time to kind of focus on myself, take a step back. And so I actually went and got accredited as a health coach, and then started realizing I want to work with teachers. They speak the same love language as me. And I noticed just a lot of teachers that I work with sharing a very similar story where we kind of, put everybody else's needs in our house as well as, in the classroom first. And of course that, kind of degrading us just a little bit and leading to that teacher burnout that so many teachers are experiencing. So really trying to focus on not only just the weight loss piece, but just overall that holistic health. So, we can be up there in front of the classroom or even on the side working with students in small groups and just feeling like we can still teach like our hair is on fire because we have that energy and that fuel that we need.
Yeah. And we've been told that's how we need to teach, right? There's even a book called Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire.
That's right. That's right.
And that doesn't lead to really taking care of our own personal needs, which is why I was like, oh my gosh, when I found you, I was like, you need to come. I know a bunch of people that, when I got started, I was just like working down here. I had my meals delivered even down here by my family. Like I wasn't even taking care of like when I needed to eat. And then when it was time to eat, I was so hungry. I would just eat and eat and eat. And it led to overeating, and which then led to weight gain. And I'm like constantly on top of making sure that my health is in priority. And so I'm so grateful that you're here to share all about that with us. And Rhonda, tell us a little bit about your background.
Hi. So I feel so out of place because I've never helped a teacher at all. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to be here and to learn, just like everybody else, about this new industry. I am a client experience specialist and operations and system strategist. And so I specialize in all things system, text, and automation. And what that looks like as you work with your clients, helping all of our entrepreneurs to stop working so hard, be a little bit more productive, be a little bit more efficient in their businesses so that they do not get to that burnout stage. And so I usually work with service providers and consultants. And so I am here to share my knowledge with you guys in the tutoring profession. And hopefully you can take some of what I have and just share it and continue to build on your experience that you're providing. I am actually from the Bahamas. And so I've been in my own business now for about 4 years, coming on to 4 years. And I'm just so excited to be here.
Yay! Oh, that's exciting. And I think like we can learn from so many different people. I really feel like that's why we have such well-rounded guests on inside of Impact, is because there's not just one thing that we need to focus on inside of our business. There are so many different aspects of our business. And Audrey, I love that you have nailed that handwriting piece online, because that is such a difficult piece for so many people. I still have struggled with it. So I'm like, oh, I'm ready to learn. Sonia, our weight loss journey, I feel you. Like I left the school system because of a health scare. And at that point in time, I actually had just lost like a lot of weight, and I had become sick. And that's what started my entire journey to be where I'm at today. And Rhonda, I love that you focused on, that even the customer experience and automating things inside of our business, because if you don't have some of that automation in place, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So why not take advantage of those tools and those resources that can help you automate? And why not also, give your customers the best possible experience they can, so that you can focus more of your time on them and not running your business, right?
That's the goal.
That's what it's all about. I love it. I love it. So we've got such a wide variety of speakers here. What are you hoping, Audrey, that people get out of this event?
I guess two things is, one, the importance of integrating handwriting in a meaningful way, and just its importance. A lot of people think, oh, the digital age, we don't need handwriting, but that's really false. And we're seeing a lot of kids lacking in other developmental stuff because they haven't learned the handwriting. And so just to learn some of the stuff I've learned about the research and how reading and handwriting is connected, and just learning in general, and then some actual tips and tricks to actually feel like you're going through the camera and putting your hand and doing hand over hand. There's just little tweaks you can do and use the document camera, and the kids catch on quick and they make those dots, and they're able to do it pretty independently, which is pretty amazing. So,
oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yay. Yay. Because I know I'm going to be able to start like implementing that like into my own tutoring practice and make the tutoring that I do even better. Sonia, what do you want people to kind of take out of this conference?
Just kind of this idea. I talked to a lot of teacher moms, especially, that just are trying to juggle it all. And, this idea of putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, because I feel like, especially even in the classroom, we want things to be a certain way and come out a certain way. And we have these high expectations. And so just kind of lighting a little light under them, saying, it's okay when things don't go quite the way we want. It's okay to pass things along and to kind of delegate, and hand off to others, whether it be in the house or in the school. And just this idea of, we've always got this special cape on, and we put it on and we want to control everything around us, because I think that gives us a little bit of some comfort. And just this idea of that it's okay to once in a while take that off, just to kind of breathe a little bit, because otherwise we're going to go to other ways to cope with it. And unfortunately, that's not going to lead to the best outcome.
Right. Well, it definitely leads to more stress, which then causes disease inside of our body. It causes overwhelm, right? Because we're trying to do it all ourselves. And you're feeling like, we all know when we're starting to feel overwhelmed. That is a signal in our body to just like stop, walk away, come back later. I always find like if I try to do something when I'm in that overwhelmed stage, I can't get anything done. Like I've run into every single block you could possibly run in. The computer stops working. It doesn't move from page to page. Like everything is affected. Like I feel like it's all energy and it's all affected, right? All of a sudden I have like an upset parent who's like messaging me. And then all of a sudden I've got this email or something. I'm like, okay, could anything else go wrong today? And it's like, okay, if you just stop, walk away. And it might be like for me, like it's like walk away until tomorrow and then come back. And then come back to it, whatever is causing that, what you feel is causing that overwhelm. And it usually sorts itself out. And you're like, oh, that did not need me to go into panic mode. I love it. How about you, Rhonda? What would you like people to take out of this conference?
So I definitely agree with you and Sonia. Overwhelm is real, but the reality is there is another way. And so I'm hoping that everyone understands the impact that having proper systems, having proper strategies, and having the right software to assist you can help you to beat that overwhelm. And so I am looking at it from the owner, the CEO aspect, right? There is a different way that you can go ahead and you can beat that burnout before it even gets to you. Before that overwhelm starts to get to you, you know that you already have something in place for that. Okay. You are not going to get me today, overwhelm. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. And so just helping people to realize that there is a different way, that they understand the strategies, the tools, the tips, and all of the different techniques that are being offered. And, just being told in the summit. And so, yeah.
Yay. Well, we want to give you guys just a sneak peek. So I'm going to ask each of you just to share one tip that could help people today, even if they don't come to the conference. While we would love for you to come to the conference and we want to be able to see you there, we also understand possibly maybe you can't come to the conference. What is one tip that you can share, Audrey, with the audience about handwriting?
I think giving instilling in your students the importance of forming those letters properly and starting that at a young age so you don't have to break those habits. So one way of doing that is giving them dots. So like if they're making the letter D, you can put the dot up at the top and then they can, or no, in the middle, and they can do the curly C, go up to the sky, down to the ground, and that will make the D, and giving them those explicit teaching names for the strokes will help them distinct the different letters.
I love it. Awesome. And Sonia, what's one tip that you can offer everybody?
Understanding that I'd like to talk about balance, but knowing there's a season for everything, there's going to be chaos around us in moments, but understanding it's okay to say no to whether it's an admin or somebody higher up or even a parent coming to you and asking for extra to put on our load. And it's okay to say no to that so that we can take a moment so that we're not kind of feeling the stir in our head and that stress, like we just mentioned. It's okay to say no to something because the more we're going to put on our plate, the more high demand we're going to put on ourselves. And then, of course, the more we're going to reach out to other ways to kind of nurture that if we're not really meeting those needs. So just the power of saying no is okay.
Yes. And you know what just came to my mind? My email inbox. Because I used to go into my email inbox like 10 times a day. Now I schedule it. Like I'm going to go into my email inbox here. There are actually some days I don't even go into my email inbox, and then I give myself grace and I say, that's okay. You had a full day. You were busy working with clients. You can get to it tomorrow. And then giving myself grace and then going back into it the next day. I've also scheduled I put a system in place where on Fridays, I catch up on all email before the weekend. So I don't go into my weekend feeling stressed about what my inbox looks like and not being able to handle it. And feel like the more emails that you write, it grows. It's like a tree. It just like it starts blooming new branches and leaves and all of this stuff. And so that's my way of kind of pruning it into like a systematic way that works for me to get a handle on it, but not necessarily let it get a handle on me because it used to control me. I don't know if anybody else felt like that with their email or messenger or the 10 million other places that people message us.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's full and out of space and yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so sometimes it's about like finding that system that works for you. Nobody would like my system that I actually have for my email, but that's okay. You don't have to follow that system, right? Like, I don't actually delete any of my emails, which I know like people like they look at my email inbox and they cringe. I'm like, I don't cringe when I look at my email inbox. I
Doing
don't
what
cringe when
works
I
for
look at
you.
that. You cringe at it because you have a different system. But my
Right.
system allows like
Right.
I star the ones that I need to get back to. I read through the ones that I need to read through, and I respond to the ones that I need to respond to, and I save the ones that I may need you at some point in time. So you get a star, and so I can easily find you. And so I have a system there that works for me, and you're going to develop a system that works for you. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that this system works or that system doesn't work. And I know, Rhonda, you're going to be talking about some different systems and that kind of stuff. What's one tip that you could give people on systems?
Preparation is key. The if you don't prepare for what it is that you're going to do, you are going to get overwhelmed. Once the work starts to hit you, once everything comes to you at the same time, you are going to get overwhelmed. And so the tip to go ahead and to beat it is to prepare for it. And so that means putting those systems in place. So when your inbox gets to 1,000, you already have a system that's going to help you to cut that down in an hour, right? It means that having a generated auto response for something that may not be really urgent is going to allow you to put that on hold until Tuesday, because Monday you have those important matters to deal with. And so being able to prepare for those things beforehand is my biggest tip to just in business in general. I think the biggest thing or the great thing about a customer experience is that it works for everyone. And so I don't just also focus on the customer experience, but I like to focus on the CEO experience also, because you have to serve the customer. And if you
Right.
cannot, then it's no customer's experience. You have to work on the CEO experience first. And so in turn, you prepare for what you need to do as a CEO, and then you'll be able to prepare for your customers.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we're going to move on into like the us as learners now, because everything in life, we have to step into that seat of learner and give ourselves opportunities to continue to learn and put ourselves in opportunities. Like I remember when I was a teacher, I would go to different conferences and I would leave those conferences like feeling amazing. Like I'm going to implement this, and this. And, but at those conferences, I really didn't have an opportunity to really think about the stuff that I was processing. And so I wasn't able to then transfer all the time into my teaching practice. And I think that's what I'm trying to, with this conference, trying to help people do is not just like listen to you guys as speakers, but then think about where does this go? How can I talk with other tutors about how this fits in with what they do, and maybe how are they gonna like implement this, and what are they thinking about? So you have that time to process the information. So you're gonna have time to get into breakout groups and actually be able to chat with other people so that you can process the information that you guys are learning. What are some of the benefits of putting ourselves as being a learner in our business? What do you feel are some of the benefits? And I'm going to start with Sonia, because I don't want to put Audrey on the hot seat for the first time again. Sonia, what are some of the benefits of putting yourself into that learner experience for your business?
I mean, I kind of think about it as I did with my students. You get a moment to kind of grapple with something new and feel kind of the support of others around you if you're not quite sure how to implement this. And I think just like blossoming with ideas, like when I get together with other coaches or I go to, one of their, masterminds or classes, it's really nice for me to not only be kind of, in the client shoe for a moment, but I also get a chance to see how does that coach implement certain things. And I kind of borrow and take away ideas that I like to implement into my system. And you kind of get to kind of step out and be out of that one person kind of role that we tend to put ourselves into. And it leads your brain into thinking, oh, I could try this. Oh, I could try this. And there's just that comfort of doing it with others around you. It's definitely very inspiring.
And it takes that excitement to another level, right? Like we may have just kind of been getting sometimes we just kind of might start getting bored doing the same thing over and over again. So it like all of a sudden it sparks that like excitement of learning something new, trying it and doing. I love that aspect. That's one of my favorite aspects. I feel like I feel like I'm like flying in the air with excitement, like a hot air balloon, right? Just the adrenaline is going, and I am able to put anything into practice with my business, and I love that. How about for you, Rhonda?
I think it's an opportunity for us to listen, learn, and grow. I believe that we all can learn something new. We just have to listen, open our ears, open our hearts, and to take it and to grow from it. And so for me, I'm listening to Audrey talk about this handwritten thing, and I'm a twin mom. I have 4-year-olds, and they are in the phase of where they are learning to write. I have one of my girls, she writes pretty good, but she holds her pencil horribly. And I'm really excited for that for that particular presentation, because I'm like, okay, if I could figure out how I can help her to write her letters better, to hold her pencil better, and at this age, like, there's no stopping her, right? And
Right.
so I think it's an opportunity for us to really to listen to what's being said, to learn, see how we can implement it, and then to grow from it. Just implement it, do the work, put the action behind it, and then we'll see the progress, we'll see improvements, and then we'll end up to be where we want to be, successful.
Oh, well said, well said. What are your thoughts, Audrey, of placing yourself in that learner position in your business?
I think it's like twofold. Like one, it can having like others involved, it can spark ideas on which way to go. And then another, it can actually help like having someone see what you're doing. And this is kind of with my handwriting, how it kind of evolved is someone's like, wow, Audrey, you're onto something, another tutor. And like, and I'm like, this is just part of teaching. Like, to me, it's just simple, but it's not to everybody else. And I think having that realization that we all have something special to offer, but we can't always discover it on our own. And so that importance of networking and building those relationships and learning even from people who are on total opposite ends of business, there's something we can always glean. And then I always tell my kids whenever we're learning to be brave and try their best. And I find myself as a tutor or as a business owner, preaching that to myself, like, Audrey, you got to be brave and you got to do your best, because there's times like, that imposter syndrome, or that just, I'm scared, or who am I to do this? Like, Joanne's a better reading tutor than me, or so-and-so, and it's like, no, like, this is what I'm supposed to be. I need to be brave and I need to try my best, and then just trust the results to evolve with each set. So
that is so beautiful. And I love how you talked too about that networking piece, that, just how much we can learn from other people. So not even just like networking, like just like coming and being a learner, but then those real, like if we step back into like what conferences look like 20 years ago, right? You had to go actually to a location. You would uncomfortably get your badge and your information and have no idea where you're going and feel lost and confused. And then you figure out where you're going to sit. Usually it's probably towards the back because you don't want anybody to like really see you. And then all of a sudden somebody starts talking to you and you start talking to them and you get to know them. And then you start building a relationship with them. And then you're like, hey, what session are you going to next? Right. And all of a sudden you're like going through the whole conference with this person because you have so much in common. And you're like, oh, so you go from like this, like scared and like not sure how to show up to feeling like, oh, I've got a friend that is willing to kind of walk through this with me. And that networking is so amazing. Then all of a sudden it leads to things outside of the event, and it leads to other things, and it leads to collaboration. It can lead to so many other amazing aspects. And that is what I'm trying to grow with this conference, that it's not just you guys taking information, but that you guys also get to share your wisdom with each other, that the conversations you're having and the experiences that you already have are just as powerful as the stuff that the speakers are sharing with you. Like that's where the real learning happens. And that's what happens. That's what we would say in our classrooms too, right? The real learning happens in the conversations. And that's why we would say turn and share with your partner, because those conversations are important for processing. What are your thoughts? I would love to know, Sonia, when it comes to like networking, what are some of the positives that happen for you when you're networking?
Very similar to what I just heard about, just, your ideas start to blossom. Like I've got a podcast, and by meeting other women who are podcasting, it's just been a whole new realm out there. And I'm starting to realize the support there is for teachers. And I wasn't even aware of that as a teacher, so just kind of getting out there and getting my feelers out, getting to see some of the topics that other speakers bring, not even just online, but even will come to schools and do, a lot of, what could I say, kind of like teamwork building, and just that support that's out there has just been amazing for me to see that. And I wish I had seen that sooner,
Love it. And you just reminded me, that's how we met.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah,
It was
that's
through podcasts, because my goal was to get on 100 podcasts this year. I got on 50. Am I upset?
Wow.
No, my goal last year was
That's
50 and I got on 20. So I'm like, all right, so I can meet half my goal. All right. I'm not gonna be upset that I got on 50 podcasts, right? And now I have people, they're replaying their best of the best podcast series in December. And I have all these people reaching out to me that I'm on that episode for them. And I'm like,
that's
oh
awesome.
my gosh, like you don't even realize like the impact that you make when you're going through this. And I love that. So we'll have to continue to connect and talk about the whole podcasting world. Are you starting your own podcast, or are you getting featured on podcasts, or both?
A little bit of both, but I do have a podcast actually that's out there. And so it's been I loved journaling, and I think the speaking role from teaching just came to me. And so it's so much fun.
I love it.
It's my little creative space. Yep.
I love it. And it's such a great way, you guys, for those of you guys who are hearing this, getting on podcasts and creating your own podcast. Those are two great ways for you to build your expertise, like be seen as an expert in your field and what it is that you do. So it is such a great opportunity for people. And I feel like everybody needs to like just start by getting on podcasts. Like don't start by starting your own podcast, because then you're not going to have that opportunity to know what works, what doesn't work, what do other people do. You get to, like, while you're going through the being a guest process, you get to see what processes they have in place, but then you also get to see what makes a good host, what doesn't make a good host, all those great things. So it's a great way to and it's free, guys. Like most people aren't asking you to pay. If they ask you to pay, like turn the other way and like run. But most people are looking to just put great people out there in front of other people, so that we can all share our wisdom. It's another way to learn. I constantly am learning through podcasts, and have my favorite podcasts on my iPhone, listen to them all the time. They are such a godsend. I love it. Rhonda, what are some of the positives of networking for you in your business?
Well, what's left to say? You and Sonia kind of killed it. Okay. For me, when I started out, the Bahamas is we're not really like entrepreneur type people. There's not a lot of entrepreneurs. And so my journey started out very lonely. And so networking helped me to know that the thing that I loved was a thing. And it helped me to kind of zone in on what it was that I needed to perfect, so that I can be better for my clients and for myself. And so I think that the impact of networking is what has made my life so much better. And networking rocks. It's it. For me, I did a group coaching program last year, and to this day, me and a few of the ladies in my cohort, we talk almost every week. And so we are miles apart, but we are just together. And so I absolutely love it. We bounce ideas off each other. We know each other's family. We've never met in person, but you can't tell me that they ain't my sisters because, we are just so close. We've grown. Everybody is just amazing. The support that you get is amazing. And like I said, so for our culture is a 9 to 5. And once I had my girls and I realized that 9 to 5 was probably not the best for me and I wanted to do a shift, I knew that I had to do something different. And so being able to network, going online and exploring what's there. I'm not a big podcast person. I'm more like a YouTube person. I prefer to sit down and watch TV than I would let my phone play and I would listen. And so I prefer that long form video content. But all of it, information. I love information overload. And the minute I hear something, I go and bounce it off with my girls and we just talking and we getting ideas and we strategizing and it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's a give and take. It's not like a take kind of a situation.
Yeah.
It is a give and take situation where you're learning from them, they're learning from you. You're offering emotional support for each other. There's just so much that is there and is incredible. And Audrey, I know that you've really been. I feel like you can totally like connect with this, with that like with Rhonda, where she said, "In my business, it was lonely." Right? Like as teachers in the classroom, moving to online tutoring got really lonely. So to connect with other tutors was so essential to just even our mental health. What has your experience been with networking with other people?
Yeah, so I've liked networking and I kind of look at it in two different ways. One, in finding clients and building my actual business. And then the other, kind of that emotional that, okay, this is frustrating, or what's a better way to teach this, and that accountability of like, okay, you said you're going to do this. Do you have that blog written, And so what I've learned too is like, as a tutor, as a business owner, you have to nurture those relationships. You can't just expect them to come, and not all of them are there. So I think like having 2 or 3 people that you can have kind of as kind of that inner circle within your business that kind of knows where you're at, and it's not that competitiveness, but that it's helping each other push forward. And then that networking of like, I know I went to one of your events, Joanne, a couple weeks ago with the networking, and I forget his name, but he started out tutoring with you and he has online courses. And I'm like, well, I need to make them a little bit nicer, and he's like, no, you'll be surprised what you can put out and the value because of what you have to deliver. That's what's more valuable than all the professional sharpness of everything. He said, you want it to look nice, but not be so over picky. And so that was an encouragement. Now, do I know him very well? No. So those different levels of networking, I guess.
Yeah, it totally does. It totally does. In fact, you guys, I am so excited to announce that Lady 80 is actually going to be talking about networking at our event. I read this book actually while I was on vacation just recently, and I reached out to her and I was like, I got so much value out of your book. This is incredible. I love it. You give such great information in here on how to network the right way, and specifically online. How do you do that online? And so, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited that she said yes to be a speaker. And I can't wait for you guys to just hear more about what she has to say and how we can do this even better. Because I think sometimes I see a lot of tutors in the beginning, they think, I need to let everybody in the world know that I have a website. And so I need to just put that website everywhere that I can. And if I put that website everywhere that I can, more people will visit my website and I'll get more students. That's not networking. That's being spammy. And if you're doing that, it's because you didn't know. Mm-hmm. So, I don't say that in any way to make anybody feel bad. If you've done that in the past, we all do it in the beginning because we don't know anything else. But that's not networking, right? If somebody asks you for your website, then you can send it to them. But if they don't, and you just put it everywhere you can, that's spamming. But we really want to get to know each other as people. We can't network with a business. Like when you think of a business, you think of many people at the top. We don't think a person. So networking is about relationship building between people. It's not businesses as a whole. It's not like Apple networking with Walmart, right? Like that's not networking. That's two businesses that may collaborate together or something, but that's not networking by any means. Now, maybe the heads of those two companies, they start networking. And then because of that, things happen for their business, right? But those businesses doing business as their business and not showing up as who they are, that's not networking, right? And so we have to be who we are. We are the front face of our business. So you guys, I'm really excited for you guys to continue this learning journey with us. As you can see, we've got incredible speakers, Audrey, Sonia, Rhonda. You guys are going to get so much value out of this. So definitely sign up. And you're going to want to treat this like you paid thousands of dollars for this event, because when else are you going to get an opportunity like this where you can have 3 days where you can focus on you, your business, your growth? You know, this conference, even if you don't pay for a VIP pass, you guys are going to be able to make money because you attended this conference and you learned things that either saved you time and made you more money, allowed you to be able to get more clients, helped you network with other tutors who could refer you, and built those relationships. Building the relationships comes before the referring part, so I don't want to confuse those two. But it will make you money if you take those 3 days to devote and hang out with us. I promise you, it will be worth every second. So thank you, ladies, for being who you are and sharing your wisdom with us.
TutorBird lets you schedule lessons, take attendance, collect payments, and much more, all in one place.